and today I'd set out for myself that I was going to do some filming of some different bits, but honestly I'm now coming on here for a bit of a rant. As you may or may not know, if you're new to the channel, hello, I'm Kat and I suffer with various mental health issues. And if you are a returning friend, then hello. Brace yourself, I'm going on a rant. So, here in Ireland, we are, what are we, maybe a month to 6 weeks back into sort of post-lockdown, let's say. And the government has been in stages releasing different things. So the last sort of thing that was you could do, or the last stage, let's say, that's happened was that they allowed bars to reopen, providing they did food. Like the standalone bars aren't open yet. Restaurants could reopen, hairdressers, beauticians, all those sort of lovely things. And I guess I've watched a lot of people on different socials, YouTube, various things, and they were talking about how difficult they found lockdown and how it affected their mental health. And to be perfectly honest, I felt pretty good during lockdown. I knew it was for the right reasons. I knew we were all keeping each other safe. We were doing our, let's say, civic duty that, you know, previous generations have had to literally fight wars for freedom. We had to stay in and watch a bit of telly. I didn't see it as a hardship, to be perfectly honest. Yes, you miss getting your hair done, you miss taking the kids to the park. There are, you know, everybody had things that they missed, you know. I suppose for me, my big thing was the kids missed out on nursery. They were in a nursery and we were moving house because John had got a new job. So they were going to be leaving that nursery anyway, but they never kind of got their last day. They never got to say goodbye. They never kind of got that closure, which I suppose was maybe sadder for me than them. I mean, I think Amelia noticed, maybe Harry didn't, but you know, basically my point is everybody had something that they were just like, oh, this kind of sucks, but you know, it's for the greater good. Good old, no, it wasn't Shaun of the Dead. Which one was it? The middle one. Oh, this'll bug me now. Hot Fuzz. Thank you, brain. Hot Fuzz. For the greater good, we were all doing something. And I mean, in my opinion, lockdown had to come in because they had been, you know, I don't want to say threatening, but they had been saying for, you know, a few weeks prior to lockdown, look, if people don't kind of cop on, we're going to have to do something. And people weren't. They were going to beaches, they were packing themselves into pubs, they were doing all sorts of stuff. So lockdown had to happen. And it's great we're coming out of it in one respect, because a lot of people, you know, from what I see, a lot of people's mental health has improved dramatically from coming out of lockdown, which is fabulous. It really is. I unfortunately am on the other side of the spectrum, that my mental health since lockdown lifted has gone, whoa. It has nosedived. Like I've been kind of avoiding social media. I've certainly been avoiding being on it, as in this. I guess looking at stuff, and I really shouldn't be, because it's making my anxiety go through the roof. It's upsetting me to no end, and it's all to do with, I suppose, people's perceptions of what is acceptable and what isn't. And I guess what I've learned from this is my views are perhaps more stringent than other people's. But over the past week, I suppose, since the kind of pubs open, seems to be the main trigger for me. Because, you know, if you're going out, I think the government, I mean, I've obviously not been out, so I'm not an expert, but I think the government kind of said you're allowed to stay, I think it's an hour and a half, or maybe an hour and 45 minutes, around that sort of time. You're allowed to stay in a pub, and you have to have a meal. You're allowed to stay in the pub, but after this sort of hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, you have to go. And let other people kind of come in, which, you know, I think that's okay. I think that's giving people a taste of freedom, but, you know. But obviously you have to practice social distancing. I mean, to me that kind of just makes sense, because I want to keep me safe. I want to keep you safe. I don't want, you know, and I don't, I suppose, get why people aren't paying attention to that anymore. It's like a lot of people have gone, oh, lockdown's over, therefore the virus is gone. Let's all party like it's 1999. And it's ridiculous. It's like mind-blowing. The amount of people I've seen online, like, taking selfies. Like, I get you've not seen your friends in whatever, 4 months. But that's the solution to, like, oh my God, I've not seen you in 4 months. Let's have a flipping selfie and sit like 4 people on a bench. Like, am I the only one that kind of thinks, right, but the virus hasn't gone anywhere. The reason it's gone down is because we all avoided each other. And you know what happens when we don't avoid each other? It blows up again. So the amount of people, like, taking selfies next to each other, and now the latest thing is, I guess I should explain as well, I do live in Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, but I live literally on the border. My mum lives in Northern Ireland, which is technically part of the UK. So different, my government is different to my mum's government, therefore rules are different, let's say. So what you can do and what you can't do. And recently this week, the UK government has announced that they're going to make wearing face masks in shops mandatory, I think in a week's time. The Irish government hasn't done this yet. They suggest you wear a mask, but they haven't made it mandatory. And now I wear a mask when I go out. The reason being is I have underlying health issues that I want to protect myself. I have small children who I want to protect, and my mum is in her late 70s, in not the greatest health, so I obviously want to protect her too. So to me it's a no-brainer to just, you know, for the 10 minutes you're in a shop, put a mask on. And I was up at my mum's on Monday, we're Wednesday now, so 2 days ago I was up at my mum's, and I went to get some fuel, and I had to go into the shop for it, and I literally had to go in and get potatoes. So that was the plan, like in, out, done. So I had my mask on, I was queuing, socially distancing queuing to get into the shop. I was waiting to sanitize my hands, as I'm sure everybody, all shops seem to have sanitizer now at the front door. So I was waiting my turn, and literally 3 people walked past me, no sanitizing their hands, no masks, just in they went, which I was aghast. I just, wow. So I sanitized my hands, I went in, and these 3 people were kind of milling around very close to each other, not in a point that they knew each other, but very closely sort of together. One was getting coffee, another was looking at like the pastries, and I don't know what the other man was doing, maybe looking at the papers or something. But anyway, I kind of stood back and watched them for a second or two, and they were all touching things. Just, they hadn't sanitized their hands and were just touching, like the guy with the pastries, like picking them up, looking at them and putting them down. Like, no, that's not okay. And the amount of looks I got for wearing a mask. Like, I'm not touching anything. I've sanitized my hands. I'm not touching anything unnecessarily. I'm socially distancing, but I'm getting the funny looks for wearing a mask. Well, everybody else is just fine. Like, I think I came home on Monday and I was just like nearly in tears to John, because I was like, what is this? Like, what is happening? And then I think it was Monday night or Tuesday morning, it was announced that the UK government is making masks mandatory, which, yes, of course. And then sort of last night and this morning, I think this is what sent me off on the rant, is that I was seeing quotes on Facebook about the masks and, you know, people's civil liberties being taken away from them. I mean, really, when there's things like the Black Lives Matter movement going on, actually civil liberties being abused, and you've got all these people on flipping Facebook whinging that their civil liberties are being abused because they have to wear a bit of material over their face for the 10 minutes they're in a shop. And I think the worst one I saw was, I saw it a couple of times, which I think is what made me like, oh, let me get this right now. It was something along the lines of, wearing a face mask 4 months into a pandemic is like bringing condoms to a baby shower. And the amount of people that liked it, and yes, it's a funny little quip, I'm not denying that. But if you stop and think about it, wholly inaccurate. Okay, so again, you might not agree with this, and if you don't, feel free to stop watching. But okay, so bringing condoms to a baby shower, right? Are we imagining that everybody at this baby shower is pregnant? Is every single person at this baby shower pregnant? Because otherwise, yeah, bring them to a baby shower, hand them out to everybody. Are we also forgetting that condoms prevent against things like AIDS, which is a virus, STDs, STIs, you know, marvellous things, condoms. They protect us from so many things. So again, if you're handing out condoms to stop people getting a virus, yes, good. Because do you know what else is going to stop us getting a virus? A mask. Wearing a flipping mask is going to stop so many people getting sick. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people across the world have died. You know, not had a little cold, not got a bit poorly, they have died. And you're upset because you have to wear a mask. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like, you know, if you were a responsible adult and you knew a load of teenagers and you knew that they were safe in their houses, then you don't need to give them condoms, do you? Because they're safe. They're not out meeting anybody to do anything with a condom. But said teenagers then all get together for a house party. We were all teenagers. We all know what happens at house parties. Would it be the worst thing to kind of say to all these teenagers? Probably should wear this. This will protect you from things. This will protect you from viruses, diseases, infections, prevent unwanted pregnancies. Just here, I'm going to leave it there for you. Not everybody would want to wear it, but everybody should. And I suppose that's the point I'm trying to get at the masks. You might not want to, but you should. So yeah, that's my rant about masks. It probably makes no sense to anybody. It makes sense in my head. But yeah, the anxiety and even now, I can feel myself getting like, because it's just so, I need to calm down. I need to calm down. My blood pressure is literally like from it all. And as I say, my head literally isn't coping with how, I suppose, selfish some people are being, that they're not thinking of others. I mean, the amount of people in this world that have invisible illnesses, and just because you can't see it, just because I can't see it, doesn't mean it's not there. And, you know, to me, it's our civic duty to protect people, protect ourselves, protect our families, but protect other people and do the right thing. You know, again, we're not being asked to go to war. We're not being asked for anything too horrific. You know, we're not being asked to compromise our morals or do anything that will psychologically damage us. We're being asked to put a mask on our face. And I guess I'm just, as I say, my head is very all over the place right now, because one thing with borderline personality disorder, which I have, is you have very black and white thinking, and I absolutely have that. I always have. I don't understand grey areas, and I really don't. I've tried my hardest to try and literally fit in and understand these grey areas that people talk about, and I don't get it. Something's right or it's wrong. It's good or it's bad. Like, these are the things we're taught as a child. So where does this grey crap come in? Because something's good or bad, right or wrong. Do you know? Like, being a good person or being a bad person. If you do a bad, I'm not saying, no, right, I'm getting ahead of myself. If you do a bad thing, I don't think it makes you a bad person. Same as if you do a good thing, I don't think it necessarily makes you a good person. However, I do think if you stack the good up, you know, you're in good person territory. And I think part of being a good person is to think of others and try and be considerate, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You know, consider other people's needs. Consider other people's lives where applicable. And I would rather be in a shop wearing a mask, protecting various people. I mean, like, for example, I suppose the whole shop thing, maybe the trigger there as well, is that I worked in retail for years. You know, various different high street companies I worked for. And I've had to clean up piss and shit from changing rooms. You know, people literally go into high street stores, pretend to take clothes into the dressing rooms, piss and shit everywhere, and leave. You know, when you're on minimum wage and you're expected to clean that up. I've been spat at, literally spat at, because I wouldn't give somebody a refund one day because they had broken a headset. They had broken one of those like Turtle Beach, like Xbox kind of headset things, and came in to get a refund because it was faulty. Like, you've literally snapped it in half. That's not faulty. And this guy spat at me. So I suppose when you have that kind of thing, like, I just think to myself, okay, so these poor, you know, and a lot of the time they're poor kids. They're literally, you know, in their teenage years, and you've then got people coming in and coughing and sneezing at them, and, you know, they don't, what do they do in that situation? They just have to accept that you're coughing and sneezing at them. They're then perhaps going home to their parents or their grandparents. You know, grandparents might be in the house and they're then going home, possibly having caught something through no fault of their own, passing it on to a grandparent who has very little resources to fight whatever infection it is. And it just, as I say, it boggles my mind that people are so resistant of trying to help the situation. One thing that did calm me down earlier, and I mean, I was on the verge of tears. I was just so gone with it all. But it was something along the lines of, do you know what? If all the experts are right and me wearing a mask is going to help protect my fellow man and prevent lives being lost, great. If the experts are wrong and me wearing a mask isn't doing a damn thing, so what? I wore a bit of material on my face for 10 minutes. And I just think that's so true. I really do. So yeah, that's my rant, I guess. Thank you for watching. I promise I will try not to rant too much on the channel, but maybe you like a rant, maybe you want a rant. You know what, if you do, let's bloody well have one. Comment below, have a rant about something. Why the fuck not at this stage? Anyway, if you like rants, apparently, like and subscribe to the page, because yeah, I didn't quite know what my channel was going to be other than a little escape for me. Turns out it's a bit ranty. Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to go, and I've calmed down a bit now. I think that feels good to get it off my chest. Yeah, I'm going to go now and maybe film something else. Really try and calm myself down. Okay. Like, subscribe, big thumbs up. Thank you for listening. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye bye.